If you don't market your podcast, well, then no one's going to find it. That's why in this video, I'm going to show you a couple tricks you can use on Pinterest to spike your traffic and find more listeners. Let's get started. I'm Sebastian Rusk, and I help people start a podcast. Marketing a podcast can be tricky, but it's definitely not complicated by any stretch of the imagination. The goal is to get people to actually listen to your podcast episode. How do you do that? They click on a link and listen to it, whatever platform they consume podcast. Now, you should have a podcast website set up. Your podcast host probably provides you with one if you haven't built a separate website for your podcast yet. I don't recommend building a separate site just because your podcast host gives you a site anyway, and you can simply point a domain right to that site. That's actually the URL and site that I market pertaining to my podcast. So people say, what's a link to your show? I say, go to beyondthestorypodcast.com, and when they get there, they can subscribe under whatever platform they choose to do. And I drive all the traffic to that URL too, and it allows me to make sure that if you're not on iTunes, you still have an opportunity to listen on Pandora or on Spotify, and you're able to set those options up. I also take that link and I market it on Pinterest. Pinterest has an advertising platform. The traffic on that platform is absolutely ridiculous. Now, if you haven't heard of Pinterest yet, you're definitely going to want to go to Pinterest.com and get familiar with how the platform works. If you think of it like an actual old school cork board with tacks where you would post things up around your house or office, this is a digital version of that. On Pinterest, you'll create what's called a Pinterest board, and on those boards, you will post pins. So, for example, if you're just signing up for Pinterest, you would go sign up for Pinterest, create a Your Podcast board, and then the first pin would be an episode from your podcast. All you simply do is upload the marketing flyer that you've created for that episode or your album art, and then you put the title of the episode, you put the description. You are limited to like 800 characters, so you can't go crazy. And then it asks you what the destination link is. That destination link is going to be your podcast website. So in my case, it's beyondthestorypodcast.com. I spent like $30 testing this out a couple of weeks ago, and my traffic was up 600%. $30. In addition, I went and checked my downloads. I had just from last month in testing out Pinterest, well over 2,000 new downloads just from Pinterest. And I spent, again, like $30. So I got really excited about that. I'm going to continue to up my Pinterest game pertaining to new podcast episodes. But I thought, wait a second, I need to stop and do a YouTube video and help people better understand the power that's behind that. So right now, we're going to switch over to screen mode real quick, and I'm going to walk you through creating a board, creating a pin, posting it, and also running an ad on it, and then also how to go look for your analytics. I'm going to show you some of my analytics. I'm going to brag for a second so you can see how powerful this platform is. Let's go do it. Okay, here we are on my Pinterest page. If you haven't signed up for a Pinterest account, you'll want to do that. Just go to Pinterest.com. They'll walk you through that process. Super, super simple to do. Once you've set up your Pinterest account, you're going to have something. You're going to have something that looks like this. You got your activity stream, you've got your community, you've got your boards, and then you got pins. So all we're going to focus on today are the boards. That's the first thing you're going to do is you're going to create a new board, right? If you haven't created any boards before, you're going to want to create one. So you just click create board. You're going to name what that board is. You can put a date and end on it. I wouldn't suggest that. You can make it secret. I wouldn't suggest that either. The goal is to get people to the board so that you can market the content that's on it and leverage the traffic that's on Pinterest. So just name my new board, click create, and that's going to create something like this. A board is exactly what you put pins on. So as you can see, I've got a couple pins here in the Podcasting 101 board. So every time I post something new on Pinterest, it goes on, that pertains to podcasting, it'll go into Podcasting 101 on the Podcasting 101 board. So if I want to create a new pin, I simply create pin. I can go and upload an image. I can title the image. And then I can write a description of up to 500 characters right here. And then I'm going to put a destination link. So if it's my podcast episode that I'm posting, I'm going to post the title of the episode right here. And then I'm going to write some of the description. I couldn't put the whole thing if it's more than 500 characters. And then I'm going to put my podcast website, because the goal is to have people see this pin and then have them click on this link that's going to bring them directly to my podcast page that will in turn hopefully get them to subscribe and download the episodes of the show. I select which board I want to put it on. It's Beyond the Story Podcast, and I click publish. Now, when I go back and look at my boards, I'm going to go back to my profile. I'm going to go look at my boards. I've got the Beyond the Story Podcast. It's got 7 pins in there now. It's got 789 followers. And there's the pin that I just created. All it simply is an image with a title and a link. And we're leveraging Pinterest's platform that has a tremendous amount of targeted traffic to be able to market the pins that we're posting on our board. Now, let's say that this pin is already posted, just like I walked you through. Now it's time to drive some real traffic to it by some paid ads. Doesn't require a lot. Destination URL is the same. I want to use the same image, and I want to spend $3 a day for 10 days, and I'm going to spend $30 total, and I want to click promote, and I'm going to reach a potential audience of about 60 million. What happens when I do this is the following. I just started this about a month ago because I got a tip on Pinterest being really popular for podcasters to market each episode and increase their amount of downloads and people that are subscribing. So if we go to boards right here, I'm going to go to analytics right here. We'll go to overview. And these are the podcast episodes that I have ran ads on in the past month. So let's see, I did 1, 2, 3, 4 episodes. Episode right here with Dan Henry, 9,000. Spent like $12. 7,500, 7,700, 4,000, 1,200. So contingent upon how much you want to spend on the ads, entirely up to you. You can spend $1 a day, $1 a day for 30 days. This is a great strategy on any ad platform. But look at this. In the past 30 days, my impressions are up almost 700%. Total audience almost 600%. Engagement almost 1,600%. And engagement almost 1,700%. How do I know this works? Well, I would go over to my podcast stats over on acast.com. That's my podcast host. And let me show you. For the past 30 days, the amount of downloads are significant. Last 30 days, 1,700 downloads, up 4%. I contribute that to going in here and placing simple little ads on Pinterest. So I hope this sums up what you need to do on Pinterest. I hope that you are eagerly waiting to go and sign up for Pinterest, or you've already reactivate your account. If you've already got one, get in there and create a board, put some pins on that board, run some simple ads, $5, $10, $20. Don't go crazy, and find out what works. And if it does increase the amount of downloads and subscribers you're getting to your podcast. Well, I hope you're leaving this video with at least 1 or 2 things that you didn't know. If you haven't done so already, make sure you're subscribed to the channel. This way you'll get nifty updates as new videos become available. And if this video was useful to you, share it with people that you share content with, friends, family, neighbors, whatever the case may be. I sure do appreciate it. Any questions about a podcast intro or anchor, feel free to drop those right below in the comments. I do respond to each and every one of you lovely people. I'm Sebastian Rusk, signing off from the podcast Launch Lab Studio. We'll see you next time.